Hi, my name is Stephen, and welcome to the second episode of Just the HR Guy. Today's episode, as you can see, is surviving the work environment, managing your boss. So, we've all had many bosses in our career. What is a boss? Well, basically, they're a person who's in charge of a worker, a group of workers, or an organization. In my case, the kind of people I've had as bosses in my career in the beginning parts were directors of human resources, VPs of human resources, chief operating officers, CEOs, and at physician practices, also doctors who owned and ran practices. So if you want to succeed in an organization, obviously it takes talent, but you have to really understand, know, and manage the person you're working for. That way you can make a decision if this is a long-term place that you can work in. It's really important. So the first thing I want to do is describe three sort of styles of leadership that bosses offer. And keep in mind, there's a million theories. I was going to refer to some of those, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to kind of talk from my experience. So the first type of boss is what I call top-down. Now, top-down can be really hands-on, or it doesn't have to be hands-on, but the key points of a top-down leader or boss is that he or she makes it really clear with the person that they're supervising that they're in charge. They make the decisions. This person works for them. And while they might hear them to some extent, the bottom line is they're ultimately responsible. There's no question that they're responsible. So top down is, I'm the boss, this is the way we're going to do it, and blah, blah, blah. The second is what I call a dialogue type of supervisor. Now, these are the people you meet who want to talk with you. They actually are interested in your opinion, and they actually can be swayed by your opinion. They're people who will meet you halfway to some extent. They'll let you know at various points that they're still in charge, but you potentially can change how they view something or may be able to influence them. Again, they can be really hands-on, or they can be doing it from far away. I'll get into that component in a minute. The last type is what I call low interaction. You kind of feel like you're out on Mars. You're up in Mars, and you never see he or she who's your boss. And, you wonder if they even know what you're doing. Sometimes you're probably happy they don't know what you're doing or not doing, but the bottom line is they're not in touch with you. They don't keep close tabs on you and so forth. So how do you work with these people? Well, the first thing is you have to figure out all the various components. So top-down people who are going to control everything understand the use of their power. They may use things such as fear, you're going to do it my way, or the highway type of thing. They're going to be really clear on the way things go. They're going to be people who most likely are going to shift blame onto other people. Hey, I'm the CEO. I couldn't have made this mistake. There are at times people who are going to maneuver out of situations of conflict, and when it comes to the responsibility, potentially not own as much. They're going to, at times, protect their position. Because when you manage top-down, you're inherently saying that there's a certain amount of trust or lack of that you have for other people, and it's you sort of against them, and you keep your distance, and you're politically careful about what you do. Now they can closely manage you. These type of people are known to, ask for what you're doing, be very specific, ask you the same thing 5 times, do that type of thing. But there are also top-down managers who don't have a lot of contact, but still expect that you're going to do it their way. The dialogue-y people are the ones that you probably can make the most inroads with because they're going to be open to listening to you. But it also depends on whether the dialogue-y people manage you closely or not closely. There can be people who are open to having a dialogue, but don't set up meetings with you. They sort of keep you at a distance and don't interact as much as you think they would. But there are solutions for all of these types of management style. And low interaction, you're on your own. The expectation is you're going to do your job probably till that individual finds out that something's happening that he or she is not happy with. With all of these styles, various things come to play with people. People who manage people, people who are bosses, they're no different than anybody else. They have a series of personality traits. And my theory is that everybody, to be honest with you, is insecure. So it's how do people mask the insecurity? I mean, I know I'm insecure. It's a part of who I am as a worker. It was a part of who I was as a supervisor, but how do I deal with that? Do I make myself vulnerable to other people? Do I protect myself, et cetera, et cetera? One of the things I mentioned is fear. A lot of leaders use fear. You will do it this way. And I've had bosses like that. Listen, Stephen, this is the way I want it done. I really don't care about the thing you're talking about. Just do it. And you try to engage in a conversation. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it. I want it done this way. I want it done by next Wednesday, and I want to see it. Am I being clear, Stephen? There are people who manage like that. So how do you deal with someone like that? We'll get into that. Blamers. It's not easy to take blame for things that you do wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. A lot of bosses don't want to own their mistakes. They work for other people unless they're right at the top. And so people instinctively, a lot of them look to blame other people. If you blame other people, then it's not your responsibility. I think you've met these kind of leaders and people in organizations. They almost seem happy when someone else is blamed for something. Why is that? Because they're afraid of getting caught themselves. They're not that great themselves. And so there's a relief. Oh my God, it's not me. They got that other guy. The focus is on this person. If you're really confident in what you do, you don't worry about blaming other people because you understand that everybody makes a mistake and you make mistakes. So those are a couple of things that play into how people are. Now you have to decide how you're going to deal with people like this. So if you're working for somebody who's top down, who strongly manages you very closely, you're probably not going to change that individual. So you have to decide, am I going to do what he or she says? Can I live that way? Am I comfortable with that? Am I comfortable not having my opinions come out, not having my thoughts expressed, not having my thoughts listened to? That's what you have to figure out. If you can't, then you're going to have to leave. With a dialogue-y person, you're going to get that chance. But some of the dialogue-y people, they won't set up meetings with you. So you're going to have to take charge and manage those people by setting up meetings, setting up structures so you can communicate your ideas. By the way, with the top-down people, the way you manage them is simply realizing you're not going to manage them. You basically are going to do what you're told. You're going to survive that way, and you understand that's the situation. And you either accept it or you move on to another position. If the dialogue type person is a person who sets up structure, meets with you regularly, then you're going to have a good chance to increase your capacities and influence. If they're not, then you have to set up those meetings with that person and make sure that there's engagement with that individual. Low interaction people, with low interaction people, you better know what you're doing. These type of folks, they think you do know what you're doing. So if you're one of those people who doesn't know what you're doing, you're not going to get any support, any structure, any learning from them. So you have to be comfortable with initiating the contact with those type of folks. They're the kind of folks that you set up the meetings. I need to talk to you about. It's important that we speak about this. In the end, you have to decide as an employee what you can accept and not accept in other people. Bosses are just people. How much can you work for this person? How much does this person give you an opportunity to enhance your skills? How much does this person listen to you? How much does this person make the place you're working be a place that you want to stay longer? Those are all things that you have to think about. And it doesn't matter whether you're in HR, whether you're in IT, whether you're clinical, whether you're non-clinical, whether you're working in a factory, whether you're in retail. You have to figure out who you're working for. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to be extremely disappointed because, you're not going to get what you're looking for. So these are just a couple of tips. Be honest, be open, manage your boss, understand what kind of a person you're dealing with, and give them what they're looking for if you want to stay in that particular organization. The other thing, in general, is you have to assess the political climate where you work and assess how honest you can be. Like, how afraid are you about giving your opinion on things? Everybody's different on that. Regardless of the type of boss that you have to decide not just what the work culture accepts, but what do you accept? Is it okay to keep your opinions inside? How much of that are you going to do? How are you going to live your career? And it sounds like something that's simple, but it's not. You're going to spend most of your time, if you're a full-time worker, in that work environment, and you have to figure those things out. If you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to share them. Please like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed so you can be one of the first people to get my latest videos. Doesn't cost anything. If you want to communicate with me by email, it's justthehrguy@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a good day.